Hey everyone, it's Darren here and I'm back for another review, and today we are going to be looking at the Speras EST. And this is an interesting flashlight because it has an SST-40 emitter, but it is paired with a TIR lens. So I haven't had that combination before, especially in such a small package like that. And one of the things with TIR lenses is that they actually reduce the length of the flashlight quite considerably. And the closest comparison that I can really draw with this is maybe my Sofirn SC31 Pro. So this is the package that it comes with. Pretty basic, 1900 lumens, 211 meter beam distance. I think that's quite impressive for an SST-40 flashlight. 157 hour runtime, that must be on the eco or the low mode. IP68 waterproof. So here's what the back of the box looks like, and you've got the output in the different modes. You've got turbo, high, medium, low, strobe, SOS. Interesting. So you've got the 90-second runtime on turbo before it starts ramping down and goes to 600 lumens at 4 hours, 11,175 candela. Pretty impressive for a little flashlight like this. Again, TIR lens, and it includes an 18650 cell, but you can run them on CR123As if you've got a couple of those. I don't bother with them. I usually just go with the 18650. 4-hour charging time, also impact resistance in there, and aerospace grade aluminium alloy 6061. So yeah, interesting. Let's open this up and have a look what's inside. Okay, so this is what you get inside the box. You've got a little plastic sleeve here with a lanyard. You've got the USB-C charging cable. You've also got a spare O-ring. It's quite similar to the anodizing on the Speras M4, just this smooth, silky smooth anodizing. It's kind of like a matte black finish. This flashlight is marketed on the Speras website as a police, military, security, law enforcement, and it's also got outdoors as well, but certainly it has this tactical-like feel on it. And the interesting thing is that you have the kind of tactical button here on the back, and then you've got a button here on the side. It's got a nice sturdy clip here. Another thing I notice as well is the bezel. It's got this crenulated bezel, so if you need to break some glass or something like that, you're going to be able to do that quite easily. Okay, this is what it looks like underneath the hood. That's the TIR lens, and there is a bit of glass on the front of that lens as well. That's good news. You want that bit of glass there so that it protects the lens, the TIR lens underneath. So I wonder if I can unscrew that. I really don't want to. Oh, okay. I thought I could almost unscrew it, but that's just a fabrication line, a little groove that's cut into the top there. But if you unscrew this bit, okay, so you can take off the head. Let's have a look what's underneath. You've got the battery in there. Here you go. You've got that Speras driver with the spring on it. There we go. Let's pop that down. Got the battery, battery tube, and I'll take off the end of it. And the spring, it's kind of a little bit difficult to see, but it's actually a double coiled spring. Got a bit of this insulation film as well as usual on the battery. Let's have a look. I wonder if I can reverse this tube. Goes on both ways. Yep, it's definitely reversible. So that's good. You can have it. You can have that flashlight coming out of your pocket with the head up or the head down. I think that's a really nice option to have. And just take off everything again. One thing I really like as well on flashlights is square cut threads. It just feels so much better when you're screwing them on and you're not getting any scraping or anything like that. So these are nicely cut, generously cut as well. So you've got a fair bit of thread on there. They are all anodized. So you're going to be able to lock out this flashlight by turning the tail cap a 1/8 turn. Look at that. One thing I really like about these Speras torches is this side switch button. It's just that perfect level of firmness. It almost looks like an aluminium button, but it's not. It's kind of rubberized, but it's a hard sort of rubber. And so you've got a tiny bit of grip there, but at the same time, it's sitting flush underneath. You've got this large button here on the back. Look at that tactical switch. If you compare the switches on the back of my FC12 versus my Speras EST, the button is almost twice as large. doesn't matter. You know, this one feels a little bit more spongy than that one, but would feel like a lot easier to use this one. Like you're certainly not gonna miss it. And as you can see, you know, the two lights have a very, very similar kind of width, but with this TIR lens, you're able to reduce the length of that light just that little bit. So really around the same diameter, but you do save a bit of that length. If you have a look here, I have my Sofa SC31 Pro, which is the smallest out of these three flashlights, but it's roughly the same size as the EST. But looking at the anodizing from these three flashlights, the EST's anodizing is really a mile ahead of the rest. It just feels so much better. You've got this nice matte black finish. Really can't speak highly enough of the anodizing. And it wasn't something that I bothered too much with originally, but I think as you start getting into torches a little bit more, you just notice these little things, especially when you've handled quite a few of them. And this one definitely stands out to me. Look at that. I like the detailing here on the tail cap as well. You can see closer up that tail cap, it's just this nice little vertical lines running along the back. The knurling is nice and grippy. The cooling fins as well, nicely cut into the flashlight. So it's still quite a conservative look. A little bit of a closer up shot now. You can see here, just pressing that button, and the USB-C charging port, if I can just peel that up. Nice seal there as well. You need to have a good seal with these flashlights, especially if you're taking them anywhere near water or even just in the rain. Really quite impressed with just the attention to detail with the finish, the anodizing, the buttons, even this little crenulated bezel on top here. I'm going to use this flashlight for about a week and a bit, see how it performs. I think that's, at the end of the day, the ultimate test of how it holds up day-to-day usage. Just see if there's anything that I notice as I'm using it, carrying it around, using it for different purposes. I'm going to be doing some tests on my light meter as well, and some comparisons, and we'll see how we go. And afterwards, I'll give you my final thoughts. Speras EST. It's got a really nice diffuse beam from that TIR lens. It's quite a useful beam. You can actually lower it down to some of these lower modes. You can barely see it here, maybe here closer by. You just click it up a few times and got it on high. I think this is a really nice practical beam. Easy to use, very practical. That tail switch as well, that tactical switch, really makes it easy to just activate and deactivate. The convenience of that compared to just using that side switch. And it's because of that TIR lens that just smooths out that beam really nicely. Speras EST. Turbo. Welcome back everyone. I've used this light for a few weeks now and I want to talk a little bit about my thoughts, my final thoughts, some observations, things that I liked about the flashlight, as well as some improvements and considerations that you might want to be aware of. So like I said, I've used it for a few weeks now and I'm overall very impressed with the ruggedness of this light as well as the beam profile. It definitely has a tactical feel. I don't baby my lights and I carry them around my bag with a few other ones. Haven't found any scratches on the anodization. This is the only SST-40 flashlight that I have with a TIR lens, especially with such a small TIR lens as well. The beam is smooth, free of artifacts, and more on the floody side, though it's still focused enough to have some decent throw. A few things that I liked is that it feels easy and natural to use, which is important with a tactical style light. There's no mucking around with complex UIs such as Enduro. Just one large tactical switch on the back that you can access all the modes from. It's really simple to use this light also from off state. Just have to half press that switch on the back. It also has a side switch that you can use to change modes. The tail switch does need to be activated though in order to turn on the light. The UI is very simple. It's basically low, medium, high, turbo, and double tap for strobe. So I'll just cycle through them quickly now. Okay. And strobe is basically your double tap to get into that. This light fits very easily in my pocket and produces a lot of light for its size. It actually makes 1900 lumens, which is near the maximum of what the SST-40 emitter is capable of. The build quality is similar to the Speras M4 that I reviewed. It does have more of a matte finish, so if you do knock it up against things, you find that you do get a little bit of discoloration, though not any scratches on the surface. The build quality is similar to the Speras M4, but I did find the Speras M4 had a particularly hard anodization finish. Overall, the finish on my EST is high quality and a step above the so-called budget lights. It has a low sheen, smooth, matte black finish. The machining is high quality as well. One thing I really like is the threads. If you just unscrew it here, you can see the really thick cut square threads and makes it much easier to screw on and off tail caps. The knurling is grippy, has a simple design, reminds me a little bit of the Raylight knurling as well. This strike bezel was an interesting addition. I don't see them on too many flashlights these days, but you do see them on some of the tactical lights. And it is useful where you might need to break a window. I also like the attention to detail on the tail cap too. That was probably my favorite part of the design actually, funny enough. There's these little lines that run down the tail cap. The Speras EST comes with a 5-year warranty, which is great peace of mind with the new flashlight. The light comes with USB-C charging just underneath this flap here and has a waterproof seal. It also comes with a protected 18650 cell for added safety. So in terms of improvements and considerations, I find that the strobe function can be accidentally activated when you're switching modes too quickly. So when you're double tapping a little bit quickly, if you're switching through here, especially on the front button, you can accidentally access that turbo mode. It's a little bit annoying. You can access turbo from the tactical switch, but first you need to turn the light on, cycle through till you get to turbo, and then turn it off. So once that's done, you can activate, just press that tail switch halfway and it will go straight to turbo. The tactical button is nice and large, but it also prevents the light from tail standing. Not an issue for me, but it does make it easier if you want to balance the light facing up in a tent or something like that. There's a lot of SST-40 lights out there, but the Speras EST brings with it some unique qualities that set it apart. If you're looking for a tactical style flashlight with excellent construction and a smooth artifact-free beam, this might be the one for you. Let me know what your thoughts are in the comments below. The link to the Speras website and the EST are in the description if you'd like to check it out. If you found this video helpful, I'd appreciate it if you click the like button, and remember to subscribe if you want to see more reviews.